Now to the United Kingdom, where Parliament has voted on Brexit once again. Today's Parliament has voted to take a no-deal Brexit off the table ahead of the March 29th deadline. For the latest, we turn to RT's Eisa Ali. Eisa, thank you for joining us. I have to ask you, what is going on? What is the state right now, considering this is the second time in the last 48 hours that this has been voted down?
Yeah, absolutely. Parliament meeting again tonight in a series of votes, actually. So last night we saw Parliament rejecting Theresa May's deal that she had negotiated with the European Union. There were some small tweaks to it with regards to the Northern Irish border and what to do with that. But tonight, the votes were on whether or not the UK would leave the EU with a no-deal outcome. Now, it has to be said that these votes are somewhat symbolic because as it stands, the UK and the EU, there's no deal that they've agreed between them which has been ratified by the Houses of Parliament here in the UK. What that means is that unless the Brexit date of March 29th is pushed back, the UK by default will leave the European Union with no deal in place, and then trading between the two blocs will go on under World Trade Organization rules. Now, these votes earlier this evening sought to make sure that the UK doesn't leave with no deal, but again, it's symbolic because in the absence of any other deal, that's what will happen. So all attention now turns to tomorrow, where again, MPs will try to see whether or not to extend Article 50, in other words, to push back Brexit Day to a later date. And then next Wednesday, we understand that there will be another vote on the Prime Minister's deal. If by some way, shape or form she manages to get her deal through, then we're looking possibly at June 30th of being the day that the UK leaves the EU. And again, the EU themselves would have to approve that date being pushed back. If her deal gets rejected, then the UK would be looking for a longer extension to that period. And again, each one of the EU 27 nations, the other 27 nations in the EU, has the power to veto it. So pretty much the UK's fate doesn't really lie in their own hands any longer, and much of what takes place will be decided on the continent. But it really speaks to how many have seen how badly this has been handled by the British government, these negotiations, and how divided Parliament really is. There doesn't seem to be a consensus for any way forward, whether that is leaving under no deal, whether that is agreeing to the Prime Minister's deal, which has thus far been rejected twice by huge margins, or whether to have another referendum or even a general election to try to find a way forward. But it would also be the case that if Article 50 is extended, the EU would ask the UK either to have another referendum or to hold a general election so that the UK can have consensus and find a way through.
Interesting times. Well, thank you so much. I know it's been a long day for you, and I don't think anybody right now could predict what will happen next at this stage or predict what has happened so far. Thank you for joining us, Eisa Ali.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.